Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. J.W. Stewart along with Bruce Barber. Bruce, how you doing today?
Doing so well. I am so excited about today's episode.
I am too. This is one of the most popular groups on campus. If you've been to a football game, you've seen them and you've heard them. One of the best bands in all the land is the Chargers Marching Band. With us today is Jason DeGroff. Jason is the director of bands here at UNH, and he also teaches in our music department. Jason, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to Charger 360.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So please tell us, where are you from and how did you get here? We're so lucky to have you.
Well, thank you. I love being here, and this is one of my favorite topics in the world to talk about. So I'm from Berlin, Connecticut. I still live there. I went to UMass Amherst for my bachelor's and master's, and then I went back home and a job opened up in elementary school. So I taught elementary school for 3 years and kind of relearned all the instruments, which was great because you're learning one note a week with the instrumental fourth graders. Moved up to the middle school for 9 years. I was also the assistant director at the high school, and then I coached varsity tennis at the high school and basketball as well, two sports that I loved to play and played in high school. And then I got hired as an adjunct at Central Connecticut State University to start their marching band. So this wasn't just the first marching band I started. I did that for 5 years and built that up from 22 students to 95 at the end. And then I was still teaching, full-time at the middle school with over 300 students in my program in 3 grades, almost half the school. And then actually I took some time off to raise our 4th child, our son Lachlan, and my wife got her teaching degree, ironically, and went to teach. So we kind of flip-flopped, which was really cool, but I was working with a lot of bands on the side, so still had, sources of income coming in. And then I was hired here in 2009 to be the drill writer for the new marching band that started. They brought football back to campus in 2009, and the director called me, he was an adjunct at the time, and called me and said, come down, write the drill. So I came down, was introduced to the campus and 20 students. And
wow.
hit it off with one of them. This is kind of a funny story. Hit it off with one of them so well that he invited me to his parents' place to ski in the Poconos with my family. So we had February vacation. We were in the Poconos skiing. They put the key in the mailbox. We went down there, just my family. And I got a call from the director here. And he said, I'm leaving the university. He was still a full-time middle school director. And he said, you should apply for the job. So I came in right away after February break. Was hired March 1st, 2010. Wow. As an adjunct, went full-time July 1st. And the band of 20, about 4 of them stuck around for my first band, and we had 50 that first year and 100 the second year. So we were quickly becoming what we ended up being one of the fastest growing collegiate marching bands in the country for about 5 years.
And how many in the marching band this year?
260 this year. It's our second biggest.
Yep.
And we hit 268 before COVID, and now we're slowly building it back up.
So the history of the Chargers Marching Band goes back a long ways, right? I mean, you've been here, you said 2009, 2010. Do you know how far back the history of the Chargers Marching Band goes?
Absolutely, 1 year. It started in 2009 when football.
So there's
was
nothing
back.
way back.
Nope.
Okay.
They used to hire a high school band to come play when the team used to compete in Division III. At least that's what I heard. The first year here, before I got here, they borrowed uniforms from a couple high schools. Wow. The uniforms came in after the season. The ones you see with us today, you'll probably see in a video. But yeah, so there really isn't a history. So everything we've done, this is year 15 for me. The band's been around 16 years. They did do a couple parades, though. There were students who did parades, so I don't want to sell that short, but there was a parade band for a few years before that. So
I'm interested in some visuals.
Me too.
Should we look at some
yes,
video?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've not seen the Charger Marching Band in action on a Saturday for a home football game, you got to come to Dellacamera Stadium. I mean, it's a terrific show both before and then certainly during halftime with the dance team and the cheerleaders and the color guard. But yeah, let's roll some video on the monitor, and we'll have Jason kind of walk us through because Jason, we were talking before the show that you guys have put together some of these videos, but I want you to talk about some of the hard work that goes into putting this band together to perform on Saturdays.
Yeah, so we start the show that you see in the fall, we start planning in December.
Okay.
And I write the musical arrangements, I write the drill, and then we have a front ensemble arranger, we have a color guard choreographer, we have a battery writer, and we collaborate. Right now it's been myself picking the show, but we were just able to hire another full-time associate director. So we have another person in there who will be along for that process. But we start the writing, and then we try to have at least one song done the very beginning of February, because we have something unique to the university. We have a marching band day. And it's February 2nd this year in 2025. It was February 4th last year. And we have one piece of music, so all the high school students that come in get to leave with actual music that we're going to perform that next year. And it's been highly successful for us. The very first year we did it 10 years ago, we had 41 students show up and 39 of them came to the school. So the percentage was just off the charts. This past year we had 110 show up, high school students. So it's a great recruiting process for us. And like I said, they get to play elbow to elbow with the drum line. They get to play with the front ensemble. They get to spin with the color guard. And it just, the band recruits itself now too. I love recruiting. I still do high school visits. But when I came in, there were no videos. There was no band to go back and look at. Now we're all over YouTube. We have students, we have our second student from Hawaii this year. We've had 2 from Alaska, 3 from California. We cracked into Colorado this year, South Dakota. Ironically, 2 of our drum majors back-to-back years are both from the same high school in South Carolina, which is kind of, for a school our size, and, it's not, we all know the size of the University of New Haven, so to have 5% of the undergraduate student body in one organization is tremendous.
And we do talk a lot about the fact that, this is, obviously you're coming here for an education, but campus life is so important. And the band, actually, it provides such a wonderful community of, what did you say, is it 260 students, and then also creates community beyond that for everybody who gets to enjoy what they're doing.
Absolutely. So they all have their own section chats. They have these traditions that have been developed, like where the trumpets used to go to the buffet down the street, and they would do that. So they all get together and communicate that way. And I love seeing that, because I've always thought of my college band as a home away from home. And that's why we want to promote it as a home away from home and just a family atmosphere. And when I saw a lot of alumni come back this past weekend for homecoming, it was like, welcome home. You're coming back. And just to see how that's developed and taken on its own thing. They study together, they eat together. I tell the parents too that they motivate each other. You may not want to study, but let's do a study thing. Let's go to class together. When I started, I would occasionally see a band student on campus. Now you can't go anywhere without seeing. Just today on my way in, I saw 5 band sweatshirts, marching band sweatshirts. So they're everywhere, and they're in all the majors, and we're very fortunate because a lot of the students want to be in a college marching band, and we provide that, as well as some amazing majors and some of the best in the country. So it works hand in hand, and it helps us all out.
That's what I think I liked the best about that, was just the smiles on the students.
I tell you, they're always smiling. I don't know, I have this, I'm always deep in thought, and I have this serious face, and they're all the pictures and videos. So I guess they're happy to be here. I mean, we talk about retention as well, and they want to come here and stay. So it's great. And now we have students that stay for grad school. So they'll do 6 straight years of marching.
Wow.
Do they get credit for that?
They do. So every ensemble here is accredited class. Yep.
So it looks like a team, right? I mean, the marching band is a team, and that makes you the coach. Yep. As coach, what are you doing? I know you said you're prepping stuff, but how many times a week are you practicing, and what are you doing on Fridays before game days? What are you doing on game days themselves?
So we have practice/class on Monday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. in the stadium, and then Fridays from 3:30 to 6:30. And then once football gets off at 4:30, we take the field and rehearse. And we're planning everything for the 11-minute performance on Saturday. We also have, the cadence we march up to. We have pregame with the Star Spangled Banner. We have to learn the fight song. And then each section has things they do, like when we get a first down, the trumpets play a trumpet charge. And then afterwards, the team comes over and celebrates a win. And last week, scoring 56 points, we played the fight song a lot, which was great. And we love doing that. We love supporting the team and supporting the university, and doing off-campus visits and performances. And every time we do one, Monday morning, my email is just lit up with students who are interested in looking for information. So it's a great recruiter, but we have so much fun doing it.
And what's the theme of this year's halftime performance?
So this year really hits home. Like last year was All Roads Lead Home, which I thought really hit, but this year's called True Colors. We're doing Cyndi Lauper's True Colors as a ballad and a fanfare. We're doing Rainbow Connection. We have a banjo out there.
Nice.
We don't have Kermit the Frog singing. We have a trumpet solo, but we do have the banjo out there. We're doing Green Day's Holiday. We're doing From the Color Purple. We're doing Shug Avery as our percussion feature. And we're opening with Paint It Black.
Oh, some Rolling Stones.
Some great tunes. The students seem to like it a lot. We think we really plan a great show. Yeah. We really do. We think
I
the
always
writing,
like it when I hear there's some classic rock involved. That's very.
So we try to have variety too, because you don't want to get stuck in the same genre or something. And the students need to enjoy it. We need to enjoy it as a staff. We need to enjoy writing it. We want the football crowd to like it. We want the band crowd to like it when we go do exhibitions, and everybody seems to like it. It's good.
And you change the drill order? You change how everyone moves on a year-to-year basis?
Absolutely, yeah. So every year the music is different and the drill is different, and it's unique to the different numbers we have. One year we may have 15 clarinets, next year we may have 20. So the drill's never like interchangeable.
When they're marching like that, I would hit so many people. I have like the worst memory. That's my problem.
And
I would be going left, right.
That's funny you say that. There are students who come in that have never done this before. So we don't want to write it too difficult that they'll struggle, but we don't want to write it too easy that the students who have a lot of experience will be bored. But we go set to set. Okay. And we do it a number of times. I mean, repetition, but then good reps. And then we'll put the drill together, you go set it up, set to set. Then you put the music together. Then you start putting what I call chunks together. Go like letter A to B, go B to C, now go A to C. You do it enough times, I'm positive you can do it.
They would be.
Now
I want you
like
now
I want you to get out there.
Barbers over on Maxi Quad.
Now I want you out there. I want you to come
yes.
to rehearsal, and we're gonna teach you some drill. And
You
we're gonna
want
get
some
video
you
of
want
it.
some lightheartedness at practice.
You
I'm
would
your
be
man.
fine. It would be you'd be surprised at how quickly you pick it up. And to their credit, they do a great job. The show's very fast this year. Paint It Black tempo's a 168, 180. Shug Avery's 196. Holiday's 160. So they're moving. Other than the two ballads that are each a minute long, they're cruising. It's very fast. Fastest show I've ever written.
Wow.
Do you need to have, as someone who's interested in the band, do you need to have experience? Do you need to know? Do you need to have been in a band before? I mean, what do you require? Is there a minimum requirement?
So we don't have a requirement. We would love it if obviously people had experience, but we've taught people from day one. How to march, how to play an instrument. We've even had people come in the color guard and spin. Now they may not be spinning rifle or saber or some of the harder parts, just like the drum line. We're marching 8 or 9 snares, 4 or 5 tenors, 6 bass drums. There's a huge audition process for that. They have a spot in the band guaranteed. It may not be there though. And if you come in for snare, you may be on cymbals. We march 10 marching cymbals. And they do a great job and they love it. And a lot of them will try, may want to go back into bass drum or snare drum, but a lot of them love the cymbal line so much they stay for 4 years in the cymbal line. We have a great instructor for all the percussion, and all the sections have great instructors. The university's been, helped us out a lot in that way. We have a large staff, which is very helpful.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because like to use that coach and team analogy, you are the head coach. You have other people you delegate to. There's someone who's in charge of the color guard, someone who's in charge of the drums. How does that work out?
So we have a group chat too, like everybody else does, and emails. I'll set up the schedule, but I'll bounce it off them. Like, what do you need to work on? The color guard maybe adding work to song number 4, so we need to spend some time on that so they could put the work out onto the field, the choreography. The drums may need, hey, we want to do something with the battery. We have a transition from this part to this part. So I will put together the schedule. I'll send it out to the student leadership. We have a great student leadership every year. They audition for those positions in the spring. And I'll send it out to them. I'll send it out to the staff. We will meet, and then we'll implement the plan. And it is very much like coaching. And the fact that I have coached before and enjoy that very much, it does go hand in hand a lot. It's just a giant sports team out there, really. And you have to time manage. You have to say, okay, this is the 30 minutes we have allotted for Paint It Black. And then we're moving on, or else you just don't get to everything.
And as we conclude today, we always like to ask our guests to kind of make the plea, or I think in your case, they're coming to you. So what would you say to potential families that are considering sending someone to the University of New Haven?
Well, I've really come to love the university over a short amount of time. I think it has a lot to offer, and being a smaller school, I went to a large campus with 30,000 students, a state school, but the benefits of a lot of people knowing each other, having the small professor to class size ratio, having some of the best majors that the country can offer, really, with students coming all over. It's an easy sell, it really is, because if I have someone who wants to come in and do forensic science and they want to be in a great college marching band, it's like, well, I mean, look no further, here it is, and we think we set the students up for success, and we have a great program. We think the writing, the marching band show, you want to have a good time, you want to be good but not have too much pressure like you may have had in a competitive high school environment. We think we have a lot to offer, and basically great academic side, great potential to join the band and have a great time, and all of the ensembles. I just think it goes hand in hand. And recruiting, I was always like, the band needs you, and now I think the students need the band. I think they come here, and I think it's what they may not understand. And if a student says, I just want to get used to academics, and maybe I'll do the band the next year. It's like, then they come in and it's like, man, I should have done it that first year. But they're missing out on the camaraderie and all that togetherness and family. And that's what it's all about.
We mentioned before we started taping this episode that we didn't have 3 hours. You could easily go 3 hours just on the marching band alone. This is 15 minutes and we're done.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get to talk about the other two bands you're in charge of, or the music that you teach here. So,
Thank you.
Jason, we'll bring you back.
I sense a rebooking.
I do too, at some point.
I'd be happy
Exactly.
anytime you want.
And you know what we should do is, at some point, Jason, if you just want to do this, we should have a walk-on. Just like somebody look who's here in a future episode.
Anytime. I love talking about it and can talk about it all day long. So
Excellent.
Thanks so much for
I wish
having
we could
me.
have the band here in the studio, but we wouldn't have room for everybody, that's for sure.
No.
Yep.
Jason DeGroff, our Director of Bands here at the University of New Haven. Jason, thanks for joining us here
Thank
on
you for
Charger
having me.
360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. And Bruce, always great to be with you.
Great to be with you, J-Dub.
Thank you. This would not be a music-themed show unless we rolled out some music, so we leave you now with the sights and sounds of the UNH drumline. For Jason, for Bruce, I'm J-Dub. Thanks for joining us here on Charger 360.